The distance our train travels on a journey is 600 kilometer. Write down an expression in terms of x for the average speed of the train when the journey takes x hours. In this part of the question, the total distance covered by the train is 600 kilometer and the time is x hours. It is given in the question. What we have to do, we have to write an expression in terms of x for the average speed. And we know the formula that distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. And from here, the speed can be distance over time. We have made the s the subject of the formula. So distance over time, the distance is 600 and the time is x hours. So it is 600 over x kilometer per hour. In the second part, we have to write the again expression in terms of x for the average speed. Again the distance covered is, here the time taken is x plus r, the same distance 600 and the time is x plus 1 hour. So this is the expression for speed in this second part of the question. In the next B part, the difference between the speed in part 1, A1, that is this one, and A2, that is this one, the difference between these two is 20 km per hour. Okay, so this is the statement and it is given in the question, and you have to be very careful to read the statement very carefully. So the difference between these given two is 20 km per hour. When you want to take the difference, the bigger fraction should comes first. So here this is the larger fraction, so I will write it first, 600 over x minus, and this is the smaller fraction, this is x plus 1. Okay, and the difference is it is given in the question, this is 20, so 20 as the first one is kilometer per hour, the second one is also kilometer per hour, and the third is this one is also kilometer per hour. So all the terms have the same unit, so there is no problem of different units here. If the units are different, we have to make them same before solving the question. And student, I hope you may be aware of how to know which fraction is the larger and which fraction, how to identify that which fraction is the larger and which one is the smaller. Okay, so right now this is the larger fraction and this is the smaller one. Okay, if you have confusion how to identify, so put any value of x here, put x here. Okay, put x is equal to 1 to observe which fraction is larger. So if I put 1 here, you can put 2 as well, any number. So the 1 is the simplest one, that's why I'm putting 1 here. So this first one will become 600 and the second one will become 600 over 1 plus 1, 2, which is 300. So obviously this first one is the larger one. So whenever you have to take the difference, in difference the larger fraction will come first. Just remember this, and I have shown you how you can identify which fraction is the larger. So this first one is the larger, that is 600 over x. So let's move and let's proceed to the next step. Now you can observe here that both the fraction have the different denominators. So when you have to, because we have two fractions on the left hand side of the equal sign, so we must have single fraction on left hand side. So to make these two fractions into a single fraction, the denominator must be same. So the denominators are not same, so we have to know what is the LCM. Here the LCM is x times x plus 1, and so with students, to make the denominator same, I have to multiply the first one with x plus 1 here and here as well. Okay, and to make this, for this I have to multiply here x and x here as well. So now the next, it is 600 x plus 1 minus 600x. Now the denominator is same, I will write it into a single fraction. When the denominator is same, write both the fraction into a single one, and here let me write it 20 over 1. Okay, now just expand, multiply with this and multiply with this. It is 600x plus 600 minus 600x over x plus 1. Okay, and student, this is 600x positive and this is 600x negative, cancelled out, and we have simplified single fraction this. Now student, we have a single fraction on left hand side and the single fraction on right hand side. Now we can do cross multiply. Just doing the cross multiply, the fraction will be removed. So okay, let's do the cross multiply. Multiply 1 with this. This will give me 600. And multiply this with this. This will be 20 times x. Put the brackets. And then x plus 1. Here I will multiply this 20 with this. It will be 20x. And then I will multiply 20x with this. It is 20x square. And then I will multiply with this as well. This is 20x. Okay, and here we have 600. And student, now we have x square here. When there is a x square, it is quadratic equation. This is quadratic equation. Okay, in quadratic equation, what we do, the important step is to convert this into a standard form. So let's convert this into standard form. So to convert into standard form, it will be a 20x square. So we have to shift everything on one side. And let me shift this 600 on other side. So it will be minus 600. And student, you know that in standard quadratic equation, one side must be 0. So here we have 0 on the right hand side. But this is the standard quadratic equation. But we can see here, this equation does not match with this. This is the final answer. We have to show this answer. So here the x square is 1. But here we have 20 here. So what you have to do, divide this whole equation by 20. Okay? Divide this whole equation by 20. You know that you have studied this. You can multiply the whole equation by one number when you have studied simultaneous equation. But we can also divide a whole equation by any one number. So right now I am dividing it by 20. When I will divide this by 20, 20 divided by 21, it will be x square. And when I will divide this by 20, it will be plus 1x. And then when I divide it by 20, 0, 0 cancel. 60 over 2 is 30. It is minus 30. And when I divide this 0 over 20 and 0 over 20, you can check from the calculator, it is 0 again. So this is our final standard quadratic equation. And see, we have shown the result. We have shown the result, okay? We got this. We've done this part A. In the next part here, find the average speed of the train for the journey in part 2A. And student, to find the average speed, we have to solve this equation first. Okay? So because we should know what is x. So for that you can use any method, because it is not mentioned which method you can choose. You can choose either quadratic formula, completing the square, whatever you like. So right now, because to save my time, you should show your all the workings if you are using quadratic formula or completing square. But right now, to save my time, I'm finding the solution by using the calculator. Now I have found the solution of this quadratic equation, and the solution is x is equal to 5 and x is equal to -6. Student, remember the important point that whenever you are solving the word problem, you should keep the point in your mind, what was x in the start of the question. So can you tell me what was x in this question? It is basically speed, distance, speed, time question. So can you let me know x was distance, x was speed, or x was time? Okay, let's see in the start of the question what was x. So let's look at the start of the question. In terms of x, look here, x hours. The journey takes x hour. So the x is time. So it means this first x is 5 hours. And the time was in hours. And this x is -6 hours. And student, you know that time can be 0, time can be positive, time cannot be negative. So we will ignore this answer. We will not take this answer. So the final answer is this one. Now you can solve this part, this one. Find the average speed of the train for the journey in part A2. What is the average speed of A2? This is part A, and it is section number 2, and this was the speed here. So this is 600 over x plus 1. So just plug in the value of x, which is 5 here. 6, so 5 plus 1, which is 6. So 600 over 6, it is 100 kilometer per hour. So the answer is 100. This answer is 100 kilometer per hour. If kilometer per hour is written in the answer space, no need to write kilometer per hour. If it is not written, then you should write this as well. So this is our solution. Student, now we have seen how to handle the word problems of quadratic equation. There are two important points. First, you should be very careful when you are finding the equation in the start of the question. And the second, you should be very careful at the end of the question. You should know what was x in the start of the question. I hope you understand this. Thank you so much.